Is your cloud storage filled with document upon document of lore sheets, writer's notes, and probably a digital mimic or two ready to pounce? I thought so, you nerds! I have just the solution for your world building and DMing needs, and it's World Anvil. World Anvil is a set of world building tools to help you create, organize, and store your world setting, whether it is for your next campaign or your next novel. Recommended by amazing GMs like those over at Critical Role, Ginny D, and your favorite drag queen turned GM. That's right, me. I recommend it. I highly recommend it. I have it. I've been using World Anvil for years to work on my little world called Telric, and it's great to have just a place to organize my thoughts where it's not just a folder within a folder within a folder. It asks you some really comprehensive questions to make sure your world is fully fleshed out. Use code Shelly51 for 51% off any premium subscription. That's right! That code will get you 51% off your next favorite tool set for the next year. Make sure to check out World Anvil today and get started. And drop your link in the comments because I want to see what you come up with, all right? Check out World Anvil at www.worldanvil.com. Hello and welcome back to After the Table, a TTRPG podcast. 'Tis I, your favorite DC villain and radical weirdo, Shelly Von Miller. Hi. Hello. We have quite the badass. This episode, we have award-nominated actual play performer, wild-hearted game designer, and your favorite bad guy adjacent lawyer on TV. Welcome to the table, Valiant Dorian. Hello, darling.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
we were just talking about that before we hit record.
Yeah.
About
real
the
life
game. It was real life and game.
Real life and in game. It is unfortunate that I'm a lawyer, but here we are.
You know what? Here's the thing. Some people have to uphold law in their own way, whether it's protesting or holding the courts accountable.
Yes,
so I'm just
absolutely.
You're doing it your own way.
Yes, exactly. Thank you.
So for those who don't know who you are, let the people know.
Oh, sure thing. Hi, everyone. My name is Valiant Dorian. I use him, his pronouns. You can find me all across the internet at Valiant Dorian or at Otto Spirit Bear. Please enjoy that lovely treasure hunt I just set you on. And what I do is wear many hats. I'm a TTRPG actual play performer. I'm a Twitch variety streamer, game designer, and executive producer, and God knows how much. Also a talk show host. If you would like to keep up to date on that, my socials are all there. You might also know me from being one of the main cast members of Transplanar RPG, where currently I play the misbeloved twin brother of the Chosen One, and we're in deep in the arc we call the arc that kicks you in the head. So we're all having a very, very normal time right now. If you'd like to check that out, this is a great arc to do so because everyone's getting kicked in the head.
I love the fact that the arc is called that, or just like on the side, it's just called that.
we say it so proudly, like during our community streams and in a lot of our promotional stuff. I think before it premiered, we were like, C joked about, this is going to be the arc that kicks you in the head. And we're all like, yeah, this is going to be the arc that kicks you in the head, because we all independently and together were like, do your worst. Do the worst to us. It is needed for the story and for our satisfaction.
Exactly. It's just a mosh pit of emotion over there.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure.
So, how did you get into TTRPGs? What's your origin story?
My origin story, I think like a lot of folks currently in the TTRPG space, is in 2020. I remember I was job hunting. I was in the States at this time. It was after I graduated from my master's program in Wisconsin, and I was job hunting. And then we were told to social distance. And my dear, it was like the initial 2 weeks of social distancing. And then we all collectively found, I believe it was like the Wednesday or the Thursday of that week, where we realized or heard from official channels that we were going to be social distancing a lot more than that. And my dear friend from Scotland, Griffin Nichols at Baron Boar, he's a fantastic furry artist, reached out to me and was like, "Hey, so you're not getting a job anytime soon, right? So, do you want to just join our international homebrew furry D&D game? That's every Friday afternoon for you." And I was like, "Well, I got nothing better to do. Sure. This will be a great way to hang out with my friends." And I think that was like that's all she wrote, honestly, because the second I got into this really cool like dark fantasy political homebrew furry D&D game like home campaign, I was like, I need more of this. And I think in summer of time is a weird soup. Summer of 2021, that was when I entered the like TTRPG actual play space. At first through a horror anthology series by RK Wild. I They had an application. I was like, I'll throw my hat in the ring, and I got cast. And unbeknownst to Valiant Dorian at the time, he would be at the same table with heavy hitters such as Eli Elliott and also Connie Chung for my first ever AP thing. And I did not know what I was doing whatsoever in that podcast recording. It was only after the fact that my husband looked up these people and was like, "Hey, did you know that Connie does like an all trans like TTRPG show?" And I was like, no, I didn't. If I knew, I would have told you. Uh, and yeah, and that was kind of how I got started into TTRPGs. I started with that home game, played, didn't stop, kept playing, and then in the year following was like, let me try some performance art with it and see where it goes. Here I am. This is where it went so far.
6 years later. Six years later. I too I caught the bug during COVID 2020. Somebody was like, "Oh, you're gonna write? You know what you'd probably like? D&D." And I'm like, maybe. And so I looked into it, and I was like, yeah. So
I love that. And there's so many folks had caught the bug during COVID specifically. Well, the height of COVID, I should say. And I mean, it was a very, very important bit of like connection and structure and community that I needed in a time of a lot of uncertainty. And it was also, I think I also got thrown right into the deep end in terms of like TTRPG home campaigns of having like homebrew dark fantasy furry like game. And it was I remember like sitting down with my DM and being like, all right, so what do I do now? And it's like, all right, here's the lore document. All right, what kind of guy do you want to be? And having to like craft a world, and of course, I had the tendency of making a tragic guy, and I made one of my first TTRPG characters, a character named Vihan Hunter, whose husband was killed by the system he swore to protect. And then he's a paladin, so then he has to have a crisis of faith, because unlike most, like, in a lot of typical D&D storytelling structures, the paladin is serving a god that's, some level of distance from him, right? Or from them. And unfortunately for my character's case, his god is a living god king on the yeah, so is immortal, and has been ruling for centuries in the kingdom, and he serves as part of the guard, as one of the paladins. So when that system kills the one that you love and you see the injustices from there on, what do you do? And that's where Valiant Dorian
oath break.
You oath break. You oath break real good.
And also, I just wanted to make the comment: a queer person making a tragic story, a tragic character in a horror story. No way.
Unprecedented.
That is novel. That is new. That is no one's ever done that.
No, no one has ever done that at all, and
At
this
all.
totally does not explain anything about me and the choices I make.
Yeah. As somebody who plays vampire a lot,
Oh,
totally new.
I love whatever is wrong with you.
I'm an emo kid. I'm an elder millennial emo kid.
Mm,
That's what's wrong with me.
playing vampire is also so deeply queer. I
Yeah.
have yet to
Yes.
have the I've yet to have the privilege. That is an invitation and a threat. Like I haven't gone to play vampire yet, but it's messy in the way gays love. You know,
Yeah.
it's
As Jason Carl would say, I'm gonna make a note of that. I will make a note of that.
I know. I've read the book a few times. Just haven't gotten a chance to play it.
It's one of those things. It's if you're enjoying yourself in other games, especially like more indie games, it's hard to be like, oh, I want to go do this commercial game real quick and be like, all right.
I mean, it's the
People
same.
have a lot of opinions about this.
It's the same feeling I get with like Werewolf the Apocalypse, right? Like I love werewolves. I love like monsters and creatures, and it for me it's the same feeling of like, oh yeah, let me take this big brand, but it's also I didn't get to play Vampire the Masquerade or Werewolf the Apocalypse yet. I feel like I just gotta collect them just to say I did and to throw my 2 cents in where everyone else has already thrown theirs into the proverbial well, right? So, yeah, that's. I feel like I gotta try it, and also so many of my
Yeah.
friends love Vampire. All the gays love Vampire.
All the gays, it's true. All the homos love a good vampire game.
I gotta know. I gotta
And,
see it.
I mean, you know, furry werewolf.
Yes. Exactly.
It's to be.
Yep. I mean, I've only made several werewolf games. Just
No big deal. No
big deal. I'm so normal about werewolves. Don't ask too much about it.
So normal. So normal. Well, okay, let's get into the furry
Okay.
the furriness of it all.
Yes.
You're PNG tuber.
Yes.
You use a PNG tuber persona sometimes on stream.
Yes.
And it is, I'm assuming you're furry, your fursona.
Yes.
I know words. I know furries. Shout out my furry friend who's also in the TTRPG space.
We
Just like
we exist.
it's more likely than you think.
It is more likely than you think.
I
Yes.
I randomly showed up to a Gen Con party and I said, I'm bringing the furries as I'm in full drag. I'm just like, I bring the furries, and people are just like,
Wearing a fursuit is like drag.
yeah,
That's
it
what-
really
that's what-
is.
Yeah, that's what I will say about it. In fact, I have my husband. I don't have a fursuit, but my husband made me a little mask for Big BadCon a while back for me to wear, and this is super cool. But yes, I do have. It is my fursona. My fursona's name is Otso Spirit Bear, which is one of the usernames I go by. It's like my gamer tag and my Twitch stream name, and now I can't consolidate the names. This is just what I have to live with now. But yeah, that is my persona, and this was also due to the same friend who invited me to said game. It was also he is diabolical. He has a what we call he has two beams. He has the transification beam and the furification beam, where within a certain amount of time of knowing him, one, the other, or both will happen to you. I was already trans when he met me, so he couldn't trans my gender for me, but he did over the years of knowing him, very, like, slowly turned me into a furry. And I remember after joining this game, it was like a few weeks after, so I got he made art for all of us, so I have like a ref sheet of my D&D. I know we were spoiled rotten, full in color, like it's
It's just
with
like
accessories.
Oh, good lord! It's
know.
it's the fursona character, but it's also your character sheet that you can print off and
Yeah.
roll with. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness!
it's
How does
we
it
were
feel to be
spoiled.
blessed? How does it feel to be blessed?
I was blessed. I was spoiled rotten in that game, and he did all of that. And I remember being like, he was doing a persona art for one of the other friends he furification beamed at, and I was like, oh, what do you think? What do you think my persona would be? And he was like, I think you'd be a bear. And I was like, oh, I love sun bears. And he was like, noted. And then I get a sketch of like the reference sheet that he's already making for me of my persona, and I was like, my friend, what is this? He was like, oh, I'm just for you, just to have, just to have and to hold. And I was like, well, I'm gonna pay you for this. And he was like, okay. And then I paid him for it, and I was like, oh, I have a persona ref sheet. My soul name. I have a persona now, and that's how it started. And then I joined I don't think I'm as deep in the furry fandom. I don't know enough about like the fandom history and stuff like that. I do take the time to learn, but yeah, I really enjoy being a furry and having a persona. I have multiple personas now, and just having fun with it. This year, 2026. For the future people who stumble upon
Just in
this
case.
video,
Just in case. In 2027.
In 2026, I made it. This is the year I'm going to attend more furry conventions as a TTRPG creator. That's why I told myself at the beginning of the year. So we're going to make it happen.
I guess you use that reference sheet to then make your PNG tuber.
Oh yeah.
Or get a PNG tuber made.
Yes, I did get a PNG tuber made by my husband, who is an artist. He goes at Max Stacy. Please check him out. He also is the designer of all the Transplaner merch currently. He is amazing. And this PNG tuber, not the one on the computer. The one on the computer was a later edition done by a friend of mine named Keith at Keithachu. But the initial one, which was this kind of like really cute like bear sitting like this, and that opens every time you speak, was initially created for a live stream I did with a lot of my friends from that D&D game, where we did oh god, what's the English word for it again? Oh my goodness, Smash or Pass, but for the monster manual. So my darling husband was like, I'm making one for me. I'll make one for you. And I was like, great. And yeah, so we all had PNG tubers for it. So that's the origin story of that little guy.
That's amazing. Yeah, I've been wanting to do like a PNG tuber whenever I'm just
You
like
should.
Whenever I'm like
change your
not
life.
feeling it, but I'm like, I don't know
so
how to.
nice.
I did see that there's like a VTuber who also draws and rigs, put out like this fairly inexpensive compared to other VTuber and PNG
Rigs are expensive, y'all.
things. It's a very customizable like one, and I'm like, do I drop the $150 for this?
150?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, do I drop this and like do this? Oh man.
I mean, I will say, if you're wondering if that's gonna be like up your speed, I don't know if you've heard of the Discord tool Reactive by Fujitech. That's what I usually use for my PNG tuber. So my PNG tuber is essentially two images, right? There's the closed mouth image and the open mouth image. And you can go to this online tool called Reactive by Fujitech, and it's connected to your Discord. So all you need to do is be in a Discord call, whether it's in your own server, a private call in your server, or in a call with a friend, and you can assign and upload your images of open mouth and closed mouth, and add a bounce like animation if you want. And then that's what I basically use for my PNG tuber, and see how that feels for your vibe. And that could be.
This is. I'm just gonna write that
down. Take a quick note.
Make a mental note. I love the fact that there are VTubers and PNG tubers getting into the TTRPG space, or already in the TTRPG space, because one, it makes it feel that you're comfortable, because not everybody wants to show their face. It's okay.
Yeah.
But also it's one of those things like it's not a barrier of entry
Yeah.
then,
And
because a lot of people require at least some sort of visual representation if you're doing like a live
mm,
stream, and it's like, well, I got a PNG tuber.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
for sure. And I I just did a recording of an interview for Dicey Banner with a TTRPG creator who does use PNG tubers regularly in their production. And they brought up something very, very interesting about like the idea, in typical AP performances with the face cams, you're able to connect with the performer and the actor personifying the character, right? Sometimes folks wear costumes and there's a extra layer of immersion. But with PNG tubers, it is a relatively low barrier entry thing to use in order to create that immersion with the characters at the TTRPG table and being able to like jump straight into the world. So when folks are speaking, you're seeing the characters speak immediately on a visual level. And I was like, that's really cool. And you are definitely right about that. So it's yeah, I think more folks should consider PNG tubers just for their mental health and just for listen, content creating, being on stream. Sometimes you want to do a chill stream and you don't want to be on camera and fuss around with lights and fuss around with camera angles and all of that. PNG tuber. That's why I do almost all of my Marvel Rival streams are me doing PNG tubers because I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want this light in my eye when I'm gaming, actually. That's
Well, that, and so I live in the southern part of the United States, and in the
mm,
summer it gets so hot in this room, and then you just add lights, and I'm like,
hell. No, I understand your
I'm
pain.
dying, guys. People are like, why aren't you doing drag more on stream? And I'm like, um,
Do
because
you
I'm
have
sweating.
do you have the high powered AC that I need to be comfortable doing
Yeah, it's
that?
like I need like a window box, like a window AC unit, like up facing me under the
Yes.
desk, like y'all don't understand. I'm like, I mind you, I'm not like full, like in full drag most of the time whenever I'm
Mm,
streaming or doing this. Hey,
yes.
hey y'all can see from like up here and up. I'm wearing shorts. I'm wearing shorts and no shoes.
Valid.
I'm not wearing any tights. But there are some drag queens who stream like that, like full pads, full, everything.
Mm.
And I'm like, good on you, girl. Couldn't be me,
I
but good on you.
legitimately, and I'm like, I hope you got some good AC in the room, because
Real.
from being from Southeast Asia and I'm in Malaysia right now, my office does not have AC. Um, so yeah, and it's humid here. We have about
Yeah.
95 to 100% humidity all year round. And I just have to live with it. So I totally feel you on like sometimes you just need a little guy. You need a little guy to
Sometimes I just a
represent
little
you.
guy in a little window, just being like, "Hey guys,
Hey
hey,
guys.
how's it going?
Hey, welcome.
Hey, whoop, whoop, whoop."
Yeah, exactly. It's super cute.
Yeah, it really is. So you've been able to play some amazing characters throughout your
That's very
time in
nice.
the AP space.
You.
Would you say that there's a through line with a lot of them?
Yeah. 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 I can't really I do try very hard to push myself in the types of characters that I play. And be a little playful with some of the characters. And I think I did a better job of that in the last year of like expanding my repertoire. But I love playing a paladin-esque character. I love tragedy. I love to dive into poeticism and explore duality. I think that's a thing that I really, really enjoy. Whether it's a duality about like the concept of wrath or justice, or if it's like the duality of loving others and self-love and trying to play within these two, not necessarily extremes, but to play between two posts and see what comes up in the story. That's a huge thing that I love to do. um And I think another through line that I do is monstrosity. I love playing monsters and I love playing monstrosity, whether that is the literal monsters. Give me more monsters. I love playing monsters, but also in the like philosophical, metaphorical sense, right? Like um, when does a man become a monster sort of a deal. And if any of y'all in the audience have watched my work on Shadows of Gotham, I think that's an aspect that I explore quite a bit with Randir Vilfor. He's one of the characters where I kind of stepped out of my comfort zone a little bit, because a lot of my characters, even if they're bastards, right? Even if they're bastards, they're quite aligned with people most of the time, right? They're aligned with their party. I always ensure that my characters are very, very aligned with the party and things like that. Randir was definitely, I'm like, this is a guy. And I pitched him to Ed, being like, this is a guy. And I pitched him to the table of like, this is a guy, but we're also, if there were any table for me to present a character like this, it would be the Gotham table, right? Because who is normal and well adjusted in Gotham?
Not a damn person.
Not a damn person.
And if you say there is, you're lying.
If
you're
there
lying
is,
to yourself.
If there are well adjusted characters,
They're transplants.
They're transplants, and how long do they have? Is my next question.
That part.
How long do they have?
There might have been a few well-meaning people that got in that series.
Yeah, no. I mean, one of the main ones I reference is Harvey Dent, right? Like that's a huge one. I play a prosecutor, and he definitely has like feelings about what happened to Harvey Dent and everything. And yeah, so if there was any table for me to explore that kind of messiness with, it would be the Gotham table, and I had a lot of fun playing a character who had schemes of his own, who does care about justice, but in a very, very twisted, shaded way, and kind of like playing around in the darkness of it all more often than not. Yeah, but those are like some of the themes I like playing in. I feel like someone out there could put me into like a 1-2 liner of the type of characters that I play, because I do see it. I do see a through line, even though I'm trying very, very hard as a performer to challenge myself.
But also, it's one of those things, it's as you grow as a performer in this space, or just like in any space that you're performing at, there is things that you start with, and then you grow, and then you bring a little bit with you, and then you grow, and it piles on, and it's okay. Look, it's okay if you keep having sad characters, or if your characters are a little bit rude, a little bit of a bitch, a little bit of a way, like they're out there for themselves, or like they have this idea of loyalty that is very, very jaded, I guess. I might be talking about some of my characters. What? Nah.
What? No.
Never.
Of course not. Never. Would never
not.
accuse you of such a thing.
So, I played someone who's a evil lesbian, according to some in the space.
I love evil lesbians.
Look, evil lesbians make the world go round, and you can fight me on that. I will be at PAX East. I will be at PAX Unplugged. We can meet in the Denny's parking lot, and I will.
Yes.
I will fight you.
Duel in the Denny's parking lot.
Yeah, this evil lesbian will fight you. Okay.
Yes. Yes. Listen, I'm playing Toxic Yaoi in Gotham, and it's only gonna get worse. That's what I promise you in season 2 is worse.
Yeah. If I'm ever welcome back to a vignette at Shadows of Gotham, if it's with any of the Gotham girls, I'm just gonna be the evil lesbian in the group and just be like,
as is your right as Poison Ivy, I think.
Exactly.
I feel like if you are Poison Ivy, you should be the evil lesbian in the room. And I just need you to know, all of us were because it happens live. We don't know
Yes.
who's the guest. We
That's
just
true.
sit there. We sit there until Ed is like, all right, we're taking a break, and we're like, ooh, I wonder. And all of us at the table be like, we should be taking a break, but we want to know who's the guest today. And then we were like, she's amazing as Poison Ivy.
I love Poison Ivy. It's so a lot of people hate that movie. I think it's one of my favorites, and Uma Thurman carries it.
I love Uma Thurman as
I love
Ivy.
her. It's just enough camp that I'm just like, oh yeah, this is perfect. There's just a little bit, and we got to kind of like have that little Batman Forever reunion, and I just, but I'm really excited about having you on because the characters that you play and the stories you're able to tell, they just rip your heart out and just leave it raw. And it's I don't know how to explain it without it sounding like I'm mad about it. I'm not. I sometimes I like.
You can be mad about it.
I don't like having. I'm sitting at my desk eating lunch, and I'm like, oh, I just had my heart ripped out and just chunked on my desk real quick, while y'all are having this like emotional like your characters are having this emotional thing happening. I'm like, how? I mean. We kind of got into it. Your background is in law. How did you how did you tap into that performing aspect?
I mean, I think a lot of the stuff that I brought in with Randir in particular is both like everything I love about being a lawyer and aspects about the law, and also everything I dislike about it and everything I hate. And a lot of what Randir unfortunately is exemplifying right now is a lot of the things that I dislike. And in terms of like tapping into it, when we were character creating a lot of the things for Shadows of Gotham, I was like, I don't really quite feel like being a superhero. That doesn't feel like the calling right now. I do want to tap into an aspect of monstrosity. But we'll see what Ed says, and I didn't quite want to, play fully a monster of someone who's been transformed, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on your lot in Gotham. It really depends. And having a
go
sense
watch the show. Go watch the show, y'all.
Go watch this show. But I was like, I want to play someone who represents Gotham and to represent some of the darkness in Gotham, because Ed mentioned his interest in exploring some of like the darkness in political stuff, and I was like, you know what we need? We need a lawyer. We need specifically a prosecutor, someone who holds public office, like who's attached to a public office, someone who would have big, loud feelings about justice and how it is meted against the criminals. Because I'm like, listen, I imagine the prosecutors in Gotham are overworked, are exhausted, and are at high risk all the time just by virtue of their work and living in Gotham. Yeah.
I mean, look at the live action. Yeah, look at Harvey Dent, but look at the live movies and what's her face? She got changed. The actor got changed.
I do not know. Actually,
where is she? Where is she? Gosh darn it, I can't remember. Put it in the comments. But like the Batman, the Christian Bale Batman movies. Oh God. Yeah. Harvey Dent in that one. You could see. This is what I assume Randir would have been like, coming in with the best intentions and holding people accountable, and then seeing how the Justice Department in Gotham is just corrupt all the way down to the foundation, and it's like, all right, I'm gonna do it on my terms.
For sure. Yeah, and
So
like mild spoilers for Shadows of Gotham. It's not that much of a spoiler. I think I reveal it pretty quickly. Like Rundeer has, and this was very important to me in crafting him. I think it is important that I highlight this, is that a lot of Rundeer's damage is, like many people in Gotham, linked to personal loss, and that has twisted him in a way. And after the loss, the assassination of his mentor, that is when the jadedness set in. That is when the ruthlessness set in, because you know, and I think this is an ongoing like conversation that folks have in Gotham and in like Batman like media in general, of like, hey, what is the Gotham solution? Like, let's talk like in world building, right? Like, what is the Gotham solution, right? Um, in terms of like you got supervillains up the wazoo, and you also have gang leaders up the wazoo, right? So what is the Gotham solution? And I think in terms of playing Rundeer, I was very interested in playing a character who so strongly believes he has all the answers. They're not whether he doesn't care if they're the right answers, and I think that's the problem. The problem is his ruthlessness, and the problem is he doesn't care anymore. And obviously this gets challenged by a much larger spoiler that I will not spoil here, unless it comes up directly as a question. But yeah, but that's like some of the stuff that I was trying to tap into, is to play. I think if you start in a place like in a setting like Gotham, and you play a guy, capital G guy TM, who's got strong opinions, who has strong values, derogatory, and has the will to execute it, you set yourself up, I think, very very nicely in the action of it all. And that's similar to my the rest of my co-stars. I mean, the rest of my co-stars also make capital G guys, like gender neutral. I As much as I was meting out violence against my co-stars and my table mates, they were hurting me. There were a couple of big reveals that happened during the show, and I was like, I'm sorry. I didn't know we were doing that today. Thanks. I'll just sit here in horror as Ed goes, and that is where we'll leave off our session today. And I'm like, I'll go think about this for
I'm
a
gonna
week.
I'm gonna have to go decompress real quick. This might take a while.
Go into the backstage chat and go, what the hell is this?
what,
What the hell
what
is
the
this?
fuck is going on in this house?
What is this? I didn't know we were doing this today. This is news
Oh.
to me.
Okay. Well, all right. Okay. Well, speaking of GMs, you also GM.
Yes, I do.
With Wild Sea. What kind of stories do you like telling? And what are you hoping in the future you're able to tell? Especially like
Ooh.
not just like games, but like just themes and ideas that you are hoping to push out to the ether.
This is a great question, because I haven't been in the GM seat in a hot second. I'm back in it now with my Wild Sea, the game that you mentioned, my Wild Sea home game with my friend Keith. And that game is a balm to the soul. I'm essentially running like an Avatar, The Last Airbender-esque adventure, but it's in the Wild Sea, right? It's a more lighthearted. The characters are all relatively young, so there's like, it's a lot more like constrained in that way. But the question about like what things I want to make as a GM, this is me tapping into my executive producer brain, because there are a couple of projects that I'm working on currently, where I guess a GM and also like executive producer. There's a charity actual play anthology that I'm going to be you know executive producing for, and that is exploring the bloody vengeance that a werewolf seeks against their maker. And I think those are the kind of stories I'm interested in. I'm interested in um telling evocative stories. I think that's where my GMing heart and mind lives forever. I want I want people to sit at a table with me and they're in, and I want to create worlds where my players, where my cast are able to do their worst affectionately. You know what I mean? Like that is the kind of story I want to create. I want to like replicate that kind of like intense chemistry and trust at the table. And in terms of like major themes, I want to challenge, and I have a project that is going to be challenging our concept of what an actual play is, and at what point does a show go from a talk show to an actual play? At what point does an exploration of lore turn into oh, this is fiction happening in front of us, in front of our eyes? And another thing that I'm working on, which is the dark fantasy element, monstrosity. I want to write more monsters. I want to GM. I want to produce more monstrous stories, more wild-hearted stories. I want folks to feel unleashed and untethered when they get to play in some of the stories that I craft. And I'm interested in exploring monstrosity because as a trans man, and as someone who has observed masculinity up close, I have opinions. I have capital O opinions. I have things to say about masculinity, and there are a lot. Even my current character, Sayer on Transplay RPG, he is an exploration of masculinity, about the aspects of masculinity I love and some of its shortcomings, and how he can grow past that to show that it doesn't have to be a tenet of masculinity. And I think those are the big themes I'm really interested in tackling, are is dark fantastical themes, monstrosity, wild-heartedness, and to make worlds and places that feel evocative, that feel real, and challenge us and challenge our storytelling and the mediums that we tell them in just a little bit, just so that folks can see the different ways we storytell and the different ways that stories unfurl and unfold in and around us.
I mean, on to the next question of what kind of systems would you be
Ooh,
utilizing in these type of stories?
ooh, this is where I decide if I'm giving you exclusive stuff or not.
Ooh,
So I
exclusive.
I am very, very interested. So one of the shows that I'm going to be executive producing, this is less of a spoiler, is one of my own systems. It's called Rare Patrons. I wrote it for a 48-word game jam. Not enough words. Every year they increase the word limit a little bit, and I'm still jump scared by how little the words are. You would think when they increase the word limit, I'll find it easy at some point. No, I don't. I find it very, very hard. And writing a werewolf game in 48 words is hard. Um, and I'll be using that system for this anthology series. So it'll be duets. It is a duet game, so it's a duet of one player who's playing the werewolf and the other player who's playing the maker, aka father, and trying to like weave the story together. So that's one. Like this is a bit like closer in the future, especially for when this episode comes out. It's a little closer in the future for when that's coming out. I do have a project that is utilizing Invisible Sun by Monty Cook Games. I think Invisible Sun is underappreciated as a system. It is a beautiful, beautiful system. There's so much. I think a lot of the things that people are intimidated about in terms of Invisible Sun is that the lore, the mechanics, and everything are all tied together, and they're tied together so intensely that folks might feel a trepidation of like, oh god, I gotta dive in deep from the get-go. And I can understand how that's like very, very intimidating. And also character creation's a little long. It's a Monty Cook game. there's a bit of like front loading a lot of the work in terms of like character gen, but I think it's a beautiful system. It is one of the, though it is my first like semi long term campaign that I got to for actual play that I got to take part of that wasn't one shots. Was an Invisible Sun game called The Soul's Confidant, where I also played a bastard man, but he goes through character development. He's better at the end. And yeah, um, in terms of other systems, I do really want to tap into some of our like darker systems that we have around. I'm also very, very interested in indie systems. I think indie designers in tabletop space are doing some of the most metal, experimental like work out there, and it is so fun to watch them flourish and to play a game that just gets their conceit so well and you're able to just execute a perfect story out of it. That's I don't have any other concrete systems, but those are the vibes. I'm like would love to be in a to GM or be a player in a vampire or werewolf game, right? Like I would love to like play. I saw like so many new, even now, even today, I like earlier today I was like, "Oh wow, folks are working on a bunch of systems and a bunch of cool stuff." Like I'm really, really excited about all that. Speaking of systems, so sorry to keep talking in this tangent, but um, I do have a project coming up, uh, where we take it is a fun concept. It is not my concept. It is a concept been made by my incorrigible TTRPG coworker and partner because we can't hang out with each other unless we do projects together. Apparently, Purna M. She was the mind behind the show that we're making together called Whole New World, and the concept of it is essentially that and we will be kickstarting it when this episode comes out, but this that's a Shelly exclusive an after the table exclusive. But yeah, the whole drive of the show is we are showing the joy and chaos of TTRPGs from concept to gameplay. So we start with a game designer, sorry, a world builder building a world and a setting. Then we throw a game designer in to build mechanics or a system around said setting, and then we throw in a bunch of players and we go, let's make an actual play of this without ever playtesting the system and hope that everything stays together and doesn't fall apart. And like that for me is also something that I enjoy, right? To be able to share in the joy of um people who make TTRPGs and people who play them and being able to exemplify that in a show as well.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. I love it. As somebody
It's so
who's
good.
as somebody who's more a world builder than like making a system, I'm like, oh, that's great, because then I don't I would be like, oh, then I don't have to think of how this would go, and like the stat
No.
blocks and everything. Amazing.
It's so funny
Cool.
because it's so funny because in the initial we did this for a charity stream a while back. I think like 2 years ago now. That's how the concept came about, and in that instance, what happened was, um, I had a separate world builder, a separate game designer. They don't meet, but in the one that we're kickstarting, the show that we're currently kickstarting, the world builder and the game designer do meet. So there were multiple times during the second episode where the game designer is looking at different ways to like create and work in this world and go, so you made this choice, huh? Very interesting choice that you've made and saddled me with. Okay, we will figure this out together, I guess. And like just watching them co-build together was really fun. Uh,
That sounds like the best type of reality show ever. It's like,
yep.
oh yeah, like, oh, you go back to your quarters and write, and then you come back and you're like, oh,
Oh.
no, idiot.
The best. Listen, I'm the one that ends up GMing the actual play later. So
Oh,
what ends up
fine.
happening? Yeah. So I have to know the game somehow, and I have to know the rules, and then
Yep.
explain it to like a bunch of unprepared players who have like obviously we do character creation together. They are session zeroed,
Yeah.
but like but they're not like, oh, this is a vampire game, let me get into the right headspace, or oh, this is a wild sea game, let me get into the right headspace. No, they just go like, all right, so what's the vibe today? And I'm like, well, it's this. Stay with me. I'm gonna go through it. And stay with me, and hopefully it'll make sense by the end. And oh, you're wondering how the resolution mechanic's gonna work? Me too. Me too.
Same. Same. They haven't written that part yet. Let's go.
Because that's what happened in the first iteration of the show, was that, you know, written so it was so good. Like we had Chris Cologne who did the world building, we had Leon do game design, and and you know, as Leon was designing, they were kind of like, I don't exactly know when exactly this gets triggered, but you know, we've already been talking for 2.5 hours. I cannot sit here and do math on stream. And I was like, you are right. That's a problem for Future Val. And then Future Val had to actually execute that problem and be like, because it was meant to be a communal table. Like the dice were meant to be communal. So what happened was everyone would roll a certain number of dice, and then based on what was rolled at the virtual communal table, you would have to like negotiate and pick out who's getting the successes, who's getting the mixed successes and failures, etc. But then we hadn't figured out when those rolls would happen. At what point, because it's a sailing game.
So when do this, you roll that, and you're like, oh, well, maybe.
But the fact, yeah, maybe, because like the by value, by virtue, is meant to be not a solo rolling experience, and everyone had to roll communally. So it was a fun experiment. It was we made an actual play out of it. It worked. It worked, but that didn't mean that I wasn't stressing out every second.
I love that. Well, this is the part of the podcast where I say plug your shit. Tell the people where they can find you.
Wonderful. Hi, everyone. In terms of plugging my stuff, hi. You can find me all across the internet at Valiant Dorian or at Odds of Spirit Bear. Please enjoy that lovely treasure I just set you on. Some of the projects I do is I'm a talk show of a TTRPG show called Dicey Banter. We should be well within our season 3 by the time this comes out with all of our amazing guests. And if you are interested in some of my actual play stuff, I am you can always find me on Transparency RPG, where I play Sayer, who is the misbeloved twin brother of the Chosen One. We're live on Saturdays, 8 p.m. Eastern. Please come and check us out there. There are a bunch of stuff that are unannounced right now, but you can always find what projects I'm doing on my socials. I will undoubtedly, by the time this comes out, be in deep in several actual plays, so you'll be able to find me multiple places at multiple times. Hopefully one at a time zone that is comfortable for you. And yeah, and if you want to support me, check out my Patreon. You get to see me react to Diwali ads and TTRPG projects, as well as get early access to episodes like Dicey Banter or my games. You get to play my games weeks before everybody else, because writing is hard. Very, very hard. And Shelly, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you. And of course, like you said, you'll be in Kickstarter mode as well. So
oh my goodness, yes.
Yeah.
I forgot that I'll be in Kickstarter mode. We will be kickstarting Whole New World. This show is going to be produced by the One Shot Network. Please go and support the show. All the funds raised is going to paying the people that were on it, as well as myself for video editing, and for Purna for being the genius project manager and creative that she is. This show is her baby after all. And yeah, I hope to give you all the chaos, and hopefully by the time this comes out, people are going to know who's on it. Yeah, we're going to be doing this with the guests on our show are folks from Rowan, Rook, and Deckard. So you
No big
know,
deal. No big
yeah,
deal.
no big deal. I was screaming my head off when we did this, but like, so we are going to have, when we talk about from chaos from concept to gameplay, we mean it. So please enjoy that incredible that incredible reveal, and please go support us on our Kickstarter. I appreciate it.
Hell yes. I can't wait. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I greatly
Thank
appreciate
you
it.
for having me.
You might see me on an episode of Dicey Banter in the future.
Yes.
Bing. um, you could find all of Valiant Dorian's links down below in the show notes in the doobly-doo, wherever you want to call it. Speaking of finding people on the internet, you can find me everywhere on the internet at Shelly Von Miller, because branding is important. And no, there will never be an after the table social, because I am the podcast. It is I. And I don't want to head up another social media thing. Okay? Look, I'm not... if you want to hire me for social media management, do that. I'll do that. But I'm not doing it for myself. Speaking of finding people, you can find me on Patreon as well, where we're going to go record table sets, the Patreon exclusive segment even, where our paid members, starting at $7 a month, can get all sorts of content and get to see a fun this or that game from our podcast guests. With all that being said, I love you guys very much, and I will see you on the internet. Goodbye!